Osionagan, Galiele, Chiquero, Kohig, Wade Blevins, Dawaton, Delegantino, Unole, Dawaton, Tlaiko, Tikega, Kohig, Josko, he skine, Telegia de lo Quasti. So, hello everyone. My name is Wade Blevins. I'm really glad to be here today. Today is our 35th Cherokee lesson here at Cherokee 3 at RSU TV. Hopefully, you've been enjoying the lessons, learning about one of our great Cherokee leaders, Tojuwa Siquanid, and a little bit about really what was a very turbulent time in history. Of course, as we've been reading through in Cherokee, the time of the late 1800s, the early 1900s was very, very difficult for the Cherokee people. The 1800s in general was a really tough time for the Cherokee people because we had moved out. Removal had happened, and we ended up in Indian Territory. Then the Civil War happened, which was very devastating for the Cherokee people. And then, right after that, allotment came along, and the dissolution not only of our tribal lands, but also our tribal governments, our court system, and our governmental system. And so it was a very turbulent time and a time of great changes, and you could kind of see how that happened. And it was kind of a difficult time anyway, because the American government, of course, was very new at the time, and it was trying to figure out who had jurisdiction in cases and things like that. So Oklahoma kind of became a no man's land in a way, because the American government didn't want tribal governments to convict or to try cases when non-Indians were involved. And so they were trying to curtail that. And so because of that, a lot of outlaws, a lot of non-Indian outlaws were moving into the area because they really had no repercussions, because the tribal law systems were not allowed to convict in those cases. So it was very kind of a lawless time, and it was a really tough time for the Cherokee, for most Cherokee people at that time. It was great changes were happening. And so, and then of course during this time, the man Tojuwa Siquanid was born. And we've been learning a little bit about him and about the time that he lived in. So, and also learning about the story about the snake. So come, Idalena, Talagi Idiwani. Let's go ahead and start. All right? Let's read Idigolia here. So what I did is, up to this point, I wrote down what we had done in the story, okay? And then we're going to add to it. So let's go ahead and let's read together. I'll read it super slow, and I'd like you to try to read with me. Uwoduhi unjakti inad. Kohig jike sagi. Ehei gano hili donhi ni kai go hustino ahyo hi hei osta agisti agaluchika sagu iga I aisa G squat, Ju Hyo Tlahi, Ugo, ugoheno, usti, inad, gange, nanohulti. Ubodujahi, unjei, inad, uboduhi, unjat ale, udanti niguste, dikanti. Here's the new one. Gano hili dohi no ule huistanei. Okay, this says uga dostanei. Uk tostanei. Uk tostanei. Uyosiske di cantino. Di canti. Excuse me. Di canti. Gisquano. Dunanelei. Asi. Nuwe nadaku. All right, so this is the new part. Let's work our way through it. Kano hili dohi no. Kano hili dohi, we know is the word hunter. And then the no at the end means and then. Kano hili dohi no, and then the hunter. Ule huistanei, he stopped. Okay, the hunter stopped. Kano hili dohi no, ule huistanei. Uktostanei. He watched him. Okay, uktostanei. He watched him, he looked at him. Okay, you can use this word, this awak toast, whenever you're not just seeing something, but you're examining it. You're looking it over. You're watching it. You're watching to see what you do. You're not just seeing it, but you're seeing it and you're taking in what's happening. You know, you're giving it the once over. Okay, so you can use this awak toast. You know, like when you're watching TV. You watch a game, you watch a sports game or something like that. You know, anything that you kind of watch and pay attention to, okay? So this says, uk tostanei. So he watched it, okay? Uyosiske dikanti. He looked hungry, okay? Uyosiske, hungry, dikanti. He looked. So he looked hungry. Gisquano, and then birds, okay? Gisqua is birds. That no at the end means then. So it's putting stuff in a series. So next, birds. Dunanelei, okay? He like put him down, okay? Or he gave more than one, okay? Asi, before, nuwen daku, before returning home, nuwen daku, before going home. Okay, so this G squa, if you'll notice, G squa, we don't really know if we're talking about one bird or more than one bird, okay? So, and then a bird, okay? But here, do na ne lei, Dunanele. Okay, this D sound we just talked about. We know now that it's more than one bird. Okay, and he gave them. Okay, he gave these birds before Nuwen Taku, before going home. Before going home. All right. So then the hunter stopped. He watched him, and he looked hungry. Okay. And then the birds he gave him before he went home. So here's an interesting thing as well. So we know that the birds in this story, we know that the birds are dead, because had the birds been alive, this word would have been something completely different. Okay, so dunanelei means he gave something that's floppy or flexible. So it could, in this case, it's dead birds. It could be paper. It could be cloth, clothing. Okay, so anything that's kind of floppy. Okay, so at least I found that to be kind of interesting, that they used that word, and it indicates a lot of things in that one little word. It indicates that there's more than one bird involved, and that they are not alive, but they're flexible, right? They're floppy. All right. So let's go ahead and read through this again together. So it says, Gano hili do hino ale huishtane uk toshtane uyo siske di kanti jisquano dunane le asi nuen daku. Okay. So Kano hili do hino ule huistane uk tostane uyo siske di kanti jisquano dunane le asi nuen daku. Okay, that "u" at the end, he's before just going home. Okay, before he just went home. Okay, so let's continue on with our story. Well, I'll read through up to where we got. When we get to a certain place, I need to correct something from last time. And as I was reading through it, I kept thinking that I was wrong, and I kept thinking that my notes were wrong as I was reading through it. But I was like, well, my notes say this. But then when I had a chance, I went back through my original notes and noticed that I had transposed two words, and so we'll correct that today. All right. So don't let me forget. See, he yolegish he sky a ye tlichikadog. Ni yolegan yik Redbird Smith do don't Told you what sequini do don't jalagiganti. Si dan ojali heliga he in jusked sky. Sagu yagayil janel sko itsku higsko he udene tochu was sequinid. Ko he chick guye gwoni sonela du sine ojali heli gon udeti yiska klaskino do yogan do udeti yiska Toju wa sikwanid u de tiyiska yi nurstan. Ani gitu wagi ani yawi ya ga tiyo anegon. Gadoke toju wa sikwanid uskejik. Toju wa udod pigsmith du don Sikwanid jalagi ganti du don Oni Smith ani yoneg du no Ase gotlana ski jagesen yusti. Toju wa uji Lizzie Hildebrand du don Ijul a jalagi a le a de jagesen. Jalagi ueti di stoski da lustaneha Lizzie udod. Da lustaneha, yeah. Ijul Chukayele ke uweti jalagi nanda neha do no hi you ne. Didat na whisky ge se udod. Nu tehna si toju hua. Ani kayele ke. Dini na whisky. Uni no se le si kwanid. Toju hua didati nehi. Nigalstanisa. Klaskin. He hesti nigalstana. Sikwanid unasa agusa sam tojuhwa udehod. Anoji ayawi ya gese agusa sam. Nuls tanana a le uweti unino hetlan ani jalaki ani gusa a le ani noji da tahe agusa sam. Osta adelo kwaski ge he tojuwa. Udanto a le tonga woniski ge he. Du yukta no le ji yukta ge he. Sagu iagayel chanelsko et skusonelsko. Tojuwa anikaduwa gi ajista negesta skadugi. Didatini do hige he. Na hiyu jagesa jalagi aneha. Aya tohi ha gehe. Une gujit nanda neha. Jalagi ayetli udikale hyo jangesa. Dan kliha anlena ha undalena undatliga. Squeezed ani yoneg anehe. Tla unelagi elisa yigese. Ani yoneg du do tlasa uduli he aya tasti ani jalagi aneha. Ani yoneg das commission uno tlane Duni sesti aneha ani chalaki. Das Commission unduli he ayetli unity sti ka don ani chalaki. Ka do uni he nigod ani chalaki tla ani siya we ha yagese. Okay, and this sentence, can you remember what this sentence talked about? Ka do uni he nigod ani chalaki tla ani siya we ha yagese. This talks about all the Cherokees owned the land, not one single individual, right? Ani yoneg unduli he duni neti ka to nikada nichalaki ane. Nole duni skolstoti ani yoneg unate ka to. Okay, this duni skolstot. This is the part that I need to talk about. Duni skolstot means they allowed them, okay? Nole, then, duni skolstot, they allowed them, ani yoneg, the white people, undeti, gadon, to live on the land, okay? And as I was going through it last time, I kept thinking, I was like, what I've got written down doesn't seem right, and so let's spend some time. We'll pretend like that sentence wasn't even in there, and we'll treat it like a brand new sentence. So let's read through it. Nole duni skoltot ani yoneg undeti gadon. Okay. Nole duni skoltot. And then they allowed them, ani yoneg, the whites, untehti, gadon, to live, to live, okay, gadon, on the land, okay? So, untehti, they to live, okay? Now, if this na was not there, utehti, him to live or her to live, okay? One single person. That na sound in there means more than one person's involved. Untehti, gadon, to live, okay? Dunis kolstoti, they allowed them, okay? Nole dunis kolstoti ani yoneg, duntehti, gadon, untehti, gadon. Okay? Then they allowed the whites to live on the land. Okay? All right. Kla yunduliske ani jalagi yunulstoti. Okay? Kla, not. Yunduliske. Okay, they didn't want. Okay, they weren't wanting. Kla yunduliske. Ani jalaki, the Cherokees. Yinul stoti. This to happen. Okay, they didn't want this happening. Okay, so you might ask, because I know I asked, so it might occur to some of you. Here, we've had the word wanting, okay? Unduli he. And I think we have it unduli he here, okay? So there's a lot of wanting, uduli he, okay? And you notice there's the ending. Let's particularly look at the ending here. So we have uduli he wanted. Then over here we have unduli he, they wanted. Okay. And then we have unduli he, they wanted again. Now we come to this one, unduli ske. Okay. There's, instead of hey, it says ske. Okay. And so you might kind of think of this as the past progressive. Now, if you use one over the other, you know, like when you're speaking or whatever, they're going to understand what you have. And different speakers, depending on how they perceive what's going on, they might use one or the other. Unduli he kind of means they wanted one specific thing, one specific occurrence, okay? And then unduli ske, okay? They didn't want, in general, they weren't wanting this to happen, okay? They weren't wanting this to happen, okay? It might be a better way to translate it so that you can, in English, if we say they didn't want this to happen, or we say they weren't wanting this to happen, they both make sense. But when you really think about it, the idea is slightly different. Not much, but slightly. But they both mean basically the same thing, and it's kind of the same in Cherokee. The idea is still pretty much the same. There's just a slight difference. Okay, so you might hear a speaker, you know, whenever they're telling something in the past, they might say, you know, unduli he. They might say unduli ske, okay? And then they both mean pretty much the same thing, but there is a slight difference in the way it's perceived in the mind to the people hearing the story. So, kla unduli ske anichalaki yinu stote, okay? So they didn't want, the Cherokees didn't want this to happen. You could even put this, you could even put the word this in this sentence and it would be fine. Again, this just depends on who does the translating or who's doing the speaking, okay? Kla yunduli ske. They didn't want this to happen. Okay? Or they weren't wanting this to happen. They weren't wanting this to happen. Okay? A good example of that is whenever we talked about in the present tense, I think it was in Cherokee 2. Well, no, that doesn't work. I'm trying to think of a good... sometimes, used to, when I was young, people would say, okay? Some people would say, okay, that kanel tisko and kanel ti. Kanel tisko means I'm trying. Kanel ti means I try. Okay? Again, mean pretty much the same thing. Slight difference. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and read our way through this, and let's see how we do. So we'll read through it slowly, and then we'll see if we need to change some sounds or mess around with the word to make it make sense, and then we'll translate, okay? So, ni galadanaska, okay? Ni galadanaska. Ani gidu wagi. Dina da ti nehi. Din da ti nehi. Aneliske. Du yukta. Galohisti. Unkewiske. Okay. So we're reading through this, basically the sounds that they have, and then we're trying to kind of make sense out of it. This is what translators do. So, to me there should be a nigalstanuska, okay? Nigalstanuska, ani gitu wagi, dindatinehi, aneliske, duyukta, galohisti, unkewiske. Okay, so nigalstanuska, with all this happening, nigalsta, we know that word. Nigalstanuska, with all this happening, ani wagi, the Ketu was Dindatinehi, the Ketua leaders, Aneliske, they thought, Duyukta. We talked about that word. It means straightforward, honest, okay? It can also be the true path. Sometimes when you go to Gatillo, they talk about Duyukta. It means the right way, okay? Galohisti, and this means a way, a passage, okay? A way to go, Galohisti. Okay, it can also mean a doorway, so I don't know. And then unkewiske, okay, they forgot it, okay? So that's literally the individual words. Nigalstanuska, ani wagi dindatinehi, aneliske, du yukta galohisti. Unkewiske. Okay. So we could translate that, say, with all this happening, the leaders of the Ketuas thought that they had forgotten the true path, the right way. Okay. So nigalstanuska. Ani wagi dindatinehi, aneliske, duyukta, galohisti, unkewiske. Okay, let's read this one here. Une tlanahi, juwakeusa. Okay, let's read through it one sound at a time. Une tlanahi, juwa gewisa, aneliske, anigidu wagi. Okay, so we're going to have to mess around with some sounds because it doesn't really make sense. Okay, une tlanahi. Okay. That makes sense. Unetlana, he provided it, or God, right? juwakeosa, juwakeosa, okay, that he forgot, okay, juwakeosa, aneliske, they thought, ani ketuwagi, the Ketuwas. Okay, so this is, I really like, I think this is a really cool sentence, and I think it's a really good one. So, unetlanahi juwakeosa, God forgot aneliske, ani ketuwagi. They thought, the Ketuwas. So the Ketuwas thought that God forgot them. Okay? There we go. They thought that God forgot them. Okay? Une tlanahi juwakeosa aneliske ani ketuwagi. Okay? So we're going to work with this word. I think this is a good word for you to know, and so I added these in here just for your knowledge. So you can, whenever you're talking and you just say, oh, I forgot, awakeosa, okay? I forgot. Awakeosa. I forgot it. Okay? You forgot. Jukeosa. Okay? Jukeosa. He forgot it or she forgot it. Uwakeosa. Uwakeosa. They forgot. Unakeosa. Unakeosa. Okay? And they were forgetting. Okay? Unakeoske. Unakeoske. So this is a weird word to say, and it's one of those words where you kind of leave some of the sounds out. So if we really look at this, like awakeosa, it says awa ke we sa awakeo awakeosa awakeosa. Okay, so it's not awakesa, it's awakeo. It's got that wa sound in there, but we don't finish the sound. It's like we forget to speak during the second half of that sound. Awakeosa awakeosa. I forgot. Say, awakeosa. I forgot. Okay? Now, I want to challenge you. If you forgot more than one thing, you know, I forgot my money, okay? Meaning not just one, well, let's not use money because some speakers let's say I forgot the dogs, okay? Dogs is an easy word. So if we were going to say I forgot the dogs, plural, more than one dog, okay? Of course, the word for dog is geet, geet. And then how would we change this awakeosa to mean I forgot more than one dog? If I just forgot one little dog, I would just say geet awakeosa. I forgot the dog. But if we were forgetting, maybe there were 3 dogs, okay, and maybe we forgot all of them. So how would we indicate that? Especially since we don't have a way to make a plural out of dog, right? We can't say anigitli or we can't say digitli, right? So what would we do? How would we make that plural? Okay, I'll give you just a few seconds to think about it and come up with it. So, remember the D sound, the D means that the object or whatever the sentence is about, the secondary character in the sentence makes it plural. So we would say, Git dawa keosan, dawa keosan. I forgot them. Okay? So, dawa keosan, I forgot them. Awa keosan, I forgot it. I forgot one thing. Dawa keosan, I forgot them. Okay? Je keosan, you forgot it. Okay? If you're going to ask somebody, did you forget je keosan? Je keosan? Did you forget? Je keosan? Okay, and then we have been working with this. He or she forgot uwa keosa, and they forgot una keosa. Okay. Okay, so let's go back through. I wanted to use this word because I'm not sure we've used the word to forget up to this point, and it's a really good word to use. You can use it. Well, I use it on a daily basis, pretty much. I say, okay, I forgot, right? And so, you can now, instead of just saying I forgot, you can say, okay, I forgot. So, depending on how absent-minded you are, right? So, let's go all the way back to this sentence here, and because that was the one that I did incorrectly. The words were right, but I had gotten them transposed in my head. So we're back on track. Let's read through it. Nole duni skoltot ani yoneg untehti gadon. Okay. So Gadohyat, I'm going to ask you guys some questions now. So Gadohyat ani yoneg, Gadohyat ani yoneg, white people. Gadohyat gadon, Gadohyat gadon, land. Gadohyat nole, Gadohyat nole, and then Gadohyat duni skoltot. Gadohyat duni skoltot. They allowed them duni skoltot. Gadohyat untehti. Untehti. They to live. Untehti. They to live. Okay? Idigolia. Tla yunduliske ani jalagi yinulstote. Tla yunduliske ani jalagi yinulstote. Gadohyat tla yunduliske. Gadohyat tla yunduliske. They didn't want, they weren't wanting it. Tlayunduliske, they weren't wanting it or they didn't want it. Gadohyat anijalaki, Gadohyat anijalaki. The Cherokee people, anijalaki, Cherokee people. Gadohyat inulstote, inulstote. Inulstote. It to happen. It to happen. Okay? Nigos tanuska ane gaduwagi dindatinehi ane liske duyukta galohisti unkevske. Gadohyat ani gaduwagi. Katohyat ani katuwagi. The Katuwas. Katohyat aneliske. Katohyat aneliske. Aneliske. They thought. Aneliske. Katohyat nigalstanaska. Nigalstanaska. When all this was happening, with all this happening, or when all this was happening, Katohyat duyukta. Katohyat duyukta. The true or right, straightforward. Katohyat dindatinehi. Katohyat dindatinehi. Leaders. Katohyat unkeoske. Katohyat unkeoske. Unkeoske. They were forgetting. Unkeoske. Katohyat galohisti. Galohisti. Path. Une tlanahi jukeosa. Une liske anigatuwagi. Katohyat anigatuwagi. Katohyat anigatuwagi. The Katuwas. Katohyat une tlanahi. Une tlana. Une tlanahi. Katohyat. God. Katohyat aneliske. Katohyat aneliske. They thought. Katohyat juwakeosa. Juwakeosa. That he forgot. Juwakeosa. That he forgot. Juwakeosa. All right. So I think that brings us to the end of the lesson today. Hopefully you got a lot of good things out of it. You know, if nothing else, if you learn the word awakeosa, you're doing well. So from all of us here at Cherokee Nation and RSU TV, I just want to say wadon. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and don dago ha'i.